Hello everyone and welcome to Hippie versus Awoodenbox. A really important match for Group A of the WARNO League. Both of these players currently down in the group, so points are needed for both of these players. A victory here would get their chances of making it out of the group stage a lot better. Awoodenbox at least has a draw on his side, so a bit of scoring, but not full-on points against Phoenix. Hippie lost versus Team in Place in the first round, so as if we have a look onto the bracket here, both of these players kind of need some more set wins here to really get this going. So a win here kind of is necessary. If they draw, it would become kind of tough for both, but they would still both have a slight chance of advancing. And if you lose here, you won't make it out of the group stage. A loss here is absolutely forbidden for both sides if they want to make it out to the group of the group stage. So let's see how this goes. And if you want to support these guys, you can do so via the WARNO League Matcherino, where you can also support this whole tournament for free. But some people didn't support it just for free, because we are now having a prize pool of $505, thanks to Sinbad for coming in with 315 bucks here, as we now have a pretty sizable prize pool here at hand. It's for sure not just pocket money anymore for most people. So yeah, big shout out there. The first place now is up to 252 bucks. We also broke our first couple of stretch goals. The winner of Division 2 now will get part of the prize pool as well, and we're getting pretty close to forcing me to play a full 6-hour stream with Territorial Commando suit only. So let's see if we can breach the 600. And I will have to come up with more stretch goals, it seems. I will have to come up with more stretch goals. I didn't expect us to get there that quickly, but yeah. 500 bucks on the line now. So yeah, I hope that's an extra motivation for all of you to, who are participating in the league to put in the extra effort. And every contribution is welcome, guys. Like, every little bit here of these missions, like Colin Rawls did, at over $1 by just visiting a couple of websites and clicking a button, guys. If everyone does that, who views these games, we easily go up another 100 bucks. More. Like, if everyone would do it who watches the YouTube and the Twitch, we would go up up to $1,000 extra dollars, guys. So yeah, it might not look much, but if we put in, if everyone would do this, free money would just appear, and the tournament would become even more valuable. Also, if you want to find more information about the tournament and so on, check out playersdl.com. From now on, all information about upcoming tournaments and ongoing tournaments you will be able to find here. So yeah, the Twitch schedule will also be posted every week here. And with that said, let's go back into the game. Awoodenbox versus Hippie, an important series here, and you can see Hippie and so on going around here. It's not 200 bucks for Division 2. Yeah, the stretch goal was, if we go over 200, we will get a prize pool for Division 2. The prize pool there is a lot smaller, but I will make more stretch goals for splitting the prize pool now a bit further. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Hippie on the left side, coming in with 35th Air Assault, a division that Hippie likes a lot. A lot of Spetsnaz here coming in. UAT's SPGs, also a favorite unit of Hippie's. 14 penetration. And what's on the other side? We have 7th Panzer coming in. No forward deployment in that deck, but Spezialaufklärer still pretty solid CQC infantry with the AKSUs. Not as good as the Spetsnaz though. And yeah, you really have to make a decision where you want to go on this map with this, as Awoodenbox is going for the MiG-21 spam, and that was a solid bombing hit. Not amazing, but pretty good, as Hippie brought in 2 CVs from the get-go. CQC infantry to hold the front line here. Me Too recon coming in. Strelas and Chilkas around to deal with any helicopters, but Hippie starts without any. Mostly infantry on the battlefield. Couple of CVs, couple of anti-tank guns, and 1 or 2 BMDs, but other than that, only infantry on the side of Hippies, so that is an interesting start. Hippie currently has the +3 with the zone here in the center, and the Awoodenbox is relatively light around there. 1 T-55, a Shilka, a BRM, and a couple of much Aufklevers, but that is not a massive front line. But we have the Su-25 coming in from the other side. Shilka, though, will open up fire on it, and that Su-25 has to get the hell out of there, especially as a MiG-21 AA already is on its tail, gets a good amount of shots in, doesn't get the kill in the first run though, and is running low on missiles now, and has to be careful with the enemy AA as well. MiG-29's on the other side, yeah, to be expected. Here they come. Can the MiG-21 survive this? I don't think so. MiG-29 usually pretty efficient air superiority fighters, and we see another kill here. Su-25 got out with a couple of hit points left. MiG-29 does the job. Whilst in the south, we have some Awoodenbox helicopters coming in here to get some kills. MiG-29 now coming to dive on top of them, but already relatively low on hit points. Still gets the Mi-24 before being killed off by the Shilka. So one of the Mi-24Ds here of Awoodenbox is down. Mi-24Ds, relatively cheap helicopters though, so trading them, and relatively good availability as you get 2 per card for an armored helicopter, so trading them out against MiG-29s is not the most terrible thing for the Mi-24 player. Unlike with heavier and less available helicopters like the Mi-24P AT versions, or Akulas, or Hellfire Apaches. T-55 here though, and BRM have no frontline support in front of them, and the Medis and the RPG-29 of the Spetsnaz OP are really capable anti-tank weapons, so these units of Awoodenbox have to be really careful. This BRM most likely down as well. Yeah, Spetsnaz gets the kill with the RPG-29, whilst in the south, MiG-29 got another kill on another one of the Mi-24s. Will stay around though. Hippie not getting it out, loses it there. Awoodenbox trying to get a CV into the center, but there's no unit in front of it, so it has to be careful. And Mi-24 goes down in the end as well. Kills the Mi-24, but MiG-29 bites the dust. So still an okay trade here for Awoodenbox. Not perfect though. You kind of want to keep these helicopters alive against all these infantry on the other side. As Hippie now brings in some AA here to the front line as well. Some Afghansky, some Dejan Iglas to hold the forward zone, but Spetsnaz got relatively decimated. Only one Spetsnaz OP here remaining for now, though Awoodenbox doesn't have much of a front line here either. Currently investing more into the center. U-55, AM2, and Mudschützen rolling in there. 1 second, Mudschützen here will try to get out over here. Well, it's the SPG sitting on the other side of the river. BRM1 and SPG UWATS rolling in. Sub-Harry CV will secure this spot for Hippie, and then Hippie will be up to a +3 again. And a +3 is a sizable tick. 120 points per minute, so we'll put Awoodenbox on somewhat of a timer of 13 minutes to get this game back under control. But Awoodenbox is trying to get with a mass spam of a cheap unit here himself, with a lot of SPG-9 UWATSs coming in here, trying to cross the northern part of the map. Let's see how that goes. Spetsnaz OP in an annoying spot here. Infantry also able to move out of there. What's T-55 AM2s and Mudschützen are moving in as well. Spezialaufklevers should get repaired here in a second by the MTLB. Hippie secures the rear with his CV. +3 now is on. Let's see if the Me-2 can scout for the SPG-9 and what exactly their objective will be here. For now they will be parked over there, but I don't think they will stay stationary there for too long. What's the SPG-9 off Hippie is trying to get into some ambush position here. Trying to snipe some reinforcements most likely. And yeah, relatively slow game now, as both sides were relatively light on the ground and have to send in reinforcements. Hippie also doesn't really have to push any further. The +3 obviously is a good advantage, holding the area in front of the zone quite nice as well. MiG-21 bombers though, really efficient at the moment for their price. 125 points is really cheap for the power they bring to the battlefield. And the speed they bring it at, especially. As Spetsnaz and Dejanikis here getting pushed back. T-55, AM2 hitting the Dejanikis. Trying to hit the BMDs over here as well. SPG helping out from the side. Big gunfight here. As the BMDs and co engage heavily as well. Oh, that's the wrong direction. And Mudschützen getting hits in there as well. Spetsnaz versus Spezialaufklärer will be happening over here. Schilka staying in the rear. Modaufklärer should be able to get the SPG here. Ah, they're on hold fire, I guess. As they don't open up onto it. And Modaufklärers try to find a path for these SPG-9s, it seems. They're still stationary in the north. Haven't been called in to do anything specific just yet. Spezialaufklärer moving forward here. On the other side, Dejanikis and Saperis holding the forest. More BMD-2s coming in, more Mi-8 MTA moving forward as well. And the Desert Igla come in here on top as well. More SPG-9s moving forward. Meanwhile over here, T-64BV and Dejan Conquerors will get into spots as well. Conquerors and Iglas getting into the position over here. As Hippie is solidifying the northern zone here. This zone, the Delta zone, is quite the fortress by now. The area around it is relatively well controlled by Hippie, and the reinforcements here are nice, but the SPG-9s will try to breach that. Spetsnaz OP have to disengage there. They can't fire quite on that range. Have to fall back one spot here, where they might get better ranges to use their RPG-29, but even then they still have to be careful with all these SPGs around. Will get one, but afterwards they most likely will die. No, second shot gets out, but that second shot didn't hit anything. So one SPG-9 for the RPO, the OP. Dejan Medis over here gets killed off as well. MiG-21 not going down. On the side of Hippie, not quite good enough. MiG-29 though comes in, and the MiG-21 not evacuating here for Awoodenbox is a big issue. Goes down afterwards. Me too also going down to the MiG-29, and there's no AA up here in the north, so good kills for Hippie. Killing off another one of these really strong bombers. As a T-64BV is the biggest boy on the battlefield right now. And will stay the biggest boy on the battlefield. It's the best tank that either of these two divisions can master. 18 penetration, 16 frontal armor, 10 rate of fire with the autoloader is a really good stat. The only issue is that the accuracy is a bit mediocre, but the base stats here are really strong, even compared to the T-72s on the other side. As it has better rate of fire, it has better frontal armor than those tanks. And it has a similar amount of accuracy. BRM-1 over here, falling back against the T-55s. Can't really stand the tide there, but there's a second T-64 here already. So the T-55s have to be careful. T-64 here can be quite potent, but 3 versus 1. The T-64 might still get overwhelmed here. Gets the first shot, but lets the tank remain with 1 hit point, and that is quite painful. Gets another one-shotted. Oh no, finishes the one with 1 hit point. That way around. So not a good trade here for Hippie. On these short ranges, the T-55 at the moment are really, really strong. Well, it's the motorist Aufklärers moving forward. Also, not the baseline T-55s here. These are the T-55 AM2s with 14 penetration on 2,100 meters range and the 10 frontal armor. So they are quite solid when it comes to survivability and so on. There's a Nikki BMD down here, holding a line against the Pioneer flamethrowers. Though the flamethrowers will win that fight if the BMDs don't arrive in time. BMDs coming in, no anti-tank directly here. Spezialaufklärer a bit further north, could maybe help out, but for now there's no AT with these Pioneer flamethrowers, so the BMD will be able to eliminate them. Su-25 and MiG-25 combo, Su-25 and MiG-29 combo that way around. Doing a good job here. Su-25 now also eliminating a lot of the SPGs. SPGs down to one number. What's another Dejan Saperi moves in here on the front line. Mi-24V trying to kill the SPG. Most likely will be successful there as well. So all the SPGs have been killed off. And Hippie is still holding on here. Awoodenbox got a bit of ground, but a lot of casualties have paid for it. All the T-55 AM2s down here. And the SPGs have died. On the other side, one T-64 still remaining. SPW finally made it in, but the Su-25 still lurking in the air. Meanwhile, in the south, Awoodenbox is doing a solid push here. Motschützen now coming around, BMDs down to one. Strela and Shilkas, though, once more, not quite good enough to kill the Su-25 here. And a Mi-24V with rockets holding the line against the T-55. And against the Spezialaufklärer. Spezialaufklärer getting absolutely decimated there. Down to one hit point. Shilka might have to move up here. Or Strelas is what tries to move up there now. To get the Mi-24V out of the skies. As otherwise that thing will be nasty. Cocon, ATGMs. Pretty powerful. With 19 penetration and 2800 meter range. What's the SPW-17 together with the Motschützen holds the line down here. Spetsnaz OP will get overwhelmed. Gets killed off. But Awoodenbox needs to push in here, needs to capture, or at least contest this zone down here. Yes, Hippie is closing in to victory here. Nearly at 1,500 points now, with the +3 take rate. And Awoodenbox a good bit away from getting this zone contested once more. Couple of Motschützen here now coming in, but they won't be good enough to push Hippie's units out of these positions. Artillery might be helpful as well, but that is not quite on the front line just yet. Mi-24Ds trying to get in once more. AA on the other side, pretty limited, but the MiG-29s might come in once more. Whilst another Mi-24 has been brought in by Hippie. Other one did go north for the reload next to the Mi-26. Okay, the big supply helicopters being used by Hippie. Not a unit we see too often. This massive, chunky boy carries a hell of a lot of supply. 6,000 supplies in one unit, but also really pricey and really risky. If that thing goes down, it's a big investment completely lost, as you only get one per card. Strelas here try their best to kill off the Mi-24Vs. One of them pretty low now, down to 2 hit points, but the Strela out of ammo as well, has to reload here. Su-25 AT trying to come in to help the Mi-24. Getting the kill over here, so the 50 cal won't be able to finish the last hit point of the Mi-24. Strela back to 4 missiles, but in front of it is a Dejaniki and a BMD-2, so it can't roll any further forward. So Hippie's helicopters will survive. And the early game advantage that Hippie got into the game is still continuously ticking. Counterattacks of Awoodenbox so far not working out. But we have a sizable charge here once more. Good amount of T-55s. Trying to move in here. Motschützen helping them out. Can they achieve anything? Well, it's on the other side. Mi-24Vs come in to move closer to the front line. T-55A engaging the Dejaniki BMD. Spetsnaz under heavy fire as well. That's Dejaniki BMD comes into the forest. Direct fight versus the Motschützen. Second Motschützen over here should be able to come around as well. Mi-24V AA on the fight here. Most likely will be able to pin this down somewhat. Whilst we don't have artillery on either side. But I guess nobody ever had the time to do so. If anyone would have brought in artillery, it would have been Awoodenbox. with 7th Panzer. The Waditsa and the Akatsuya are pretty good artillery pieces. The Kotstika and the Mi-24, MiG-21s coming in here. T-64 under heavy rocket fire, but not taking much damage, just being stunned. And none of the tanks here in the rear is able to get on top of it yet. T-64 also spotted the infantry over here, so the Mudschützen have to be careful. As Awoodenbox desperately tries to get the CV in here, whilst time is running out. MiG-21 now hunting down the Mi-24 helicopter here, but just ever so slightly not getting the kill there. Once more, a Mi-24 surviving with 1 hit point. Su-25 here, not going down to these guys either, and they're now out of ammo for their 23mm. So they have to run now. Both down to 0 shots. They don't have any air AA missiles either, and they're really far behind lines. So the Su-25 and MiG-29s might be able to hunt them down here, as the Strela wants help out from the ground, sniping the second one. So air losses that Awoodenbox really doesn't want to take. Gets into the zone again though, and let's see if Awoodenbox can come back here now. In the long run, the combined arms on 7th side should be better. Good tanks, good artillery, better AA. Air tap is better on Hippie's side. Helicopter is also better on Hippie's side. Infantry is a bit more versatile on Hippie's side, but also extra pricey because of the CV extra cost. So if Awoodenbox can stabilize here now, a comeback might be possible. But playing with fire here for sure, with only 240 points remaining for Hippie to be ticked. So only 2 minutes of take of the +3 zone. If Hippie can eliminate the enemy CV in here without losing his own, then this game might end pretty quickly. So this SPW CV has to be protected by all means possible. Su-25 here, trying to come in, trying to go for the T-55 AM2. Loses line of sight though. Good smoke there by Awoodenbox. Whilst we have nearly the half-minute mark, the half game mark reached. With 20 minutes over now. More Mudschützen coming in, arriving on the front line here. On the other side, good amount of helicopters in the rear. As the MiG-27 comes in to kill the Strelas, which all are out of ammo. One of them going down. Strelas and Coops need reloads really badly. MTLBs finally arriving here. That's another Shilka comes in as well. Interesting flank here though, in the north from Hippie. And the SPW, solid line of sights. Moving forward now, which I feel is quite risky. As the Mi-24 VAA is moving in a bit as well. And that needs to be protected. Mi-24 VAA trying to kill off the Mi-24D, and it gets the kill there. 1 Igla V remaining. MiG-29 in the air, getting off the Mi-2 there. And this is not a good position here for Awoodenbox around there. Gets the CV now into the front line over here, but only a couple of Mudschützen currently in front of it. Hippie though lacks a bit of forces to do a counter push here as well though. There's a Nicky BMD trying to move forward. There's a Saperi. Might get killed before they get into TNT range. Spetsnaz OP also only a 4-man unit, not here for infantry fighting. More so here for fighting enemy vehicles, but they're none directly on the front line. There's a Shilka, but the Mudschützen on these ranges will win the fight, especially as they are up to 3-star veterancy, thanks to the CV next by. Su-25 AT flying around. Ooh, there's a Nicky Maddie's getting really close to the SPW. Hippie trying to snipe that. Shilka though does what it needs to do. Gets the kill onto the Su-25 that was trying to fly by, trying to snipe the CV. Hippie won't be able to snipe that. So the +2 here for Awoodenbox will continue. as more Spetsnaz and more BMDs try to get into the fight. Whilst on the other side, more Motschützen are coming in, more Pioneer Flame going around as well, and a good amount more of T-55s. Meanwhile, Su-25, AT coming in the north, getting the kill onto the T-55, but AA is good enough here that another Su-25 most likely will bite the dust, and that is quite important here, as these air... Is it working now? Better? Shit, okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. How long was it? Igla sitting around here. Hippie coming around. Okay. Okay. There's Nikki Maddie's sitting around here. Motschützen moving forward. Coming in here as well. There's Nikki EMD come around. I think I got onto the cable there. And yeah, Hippie is losing ground here now. It's the Motschützen are moving forward. There's Nikki trying to hold their ground, but getting bullied by the Motschützen. SPW staying behind it. Really close to the front line here though. And suicidal attack of Hippie on this might work out as Hippie pushes back the south, but might not have a bomber right now. Doesn't have the artillery, I guess, so yeah, getting on top of this ain't super easy right now. As the T-64 BV went down. T-64 BV outclassing all the other tanks on the other side, but obviously are heavily outnumbered by T-55s and T-72s of the 7th Panzer Division. 7th Panzer Division, one of the division with the most possible tanks in the game, if not the division with the most possible tanks in the game. For sure the one with the most medium level tanks, as they get a good amount of T-72s. We have a good amount of Motschützen and SPWs here, trying to eliminate infantry. There's a Nikki BMDs versus Motschützen happening over here. As a MiG-25 seat tries to find its targets in the north. Gets a shot onto a coop, gets a kill onto a coop, but flies quite deep onward afterwards as the Su-25, the MiG-25 is a really clunky plane. Turning with it is really tough, so yeah, it's hard to use, and it just goes to die there. And the Awoodenbox is going back to a +2 here, with pushing into the southern zone here. That's 80 points per minute, which wouldn't be quite enough to get the W here, but gets it closer to even. BMDP once coming in here with Motschützen. Civido gets sniped by the Janikis. The 55s have to be careful, don't want to get next to these RPG 7VLs. That's another Su-25 dies to the rocket swarm over here. Doesn't get a kill onto the CV. CV once more surviving. But only 2 Motschützen currently in front of it. And there's Dejaniki BMDs here. More infantry and more 72s desperately needed around here. The T-55 over here should maybe come around to a slightly further forward position as well. Okay, gets a shot onto the BMD-2 over here. That's important. BMD most likely gonna die now. Second, yeah, first one goes down, second one coming in. Doesn't have a way of dealing with the T-55. BMD-2 M2s both going down. So Dejan Nikis here are stopped for a bit as more T-55 M2s run in. And on the other side, we have T-55 moving forward as well. BMD2 going down. It's more and more Machitson. Try to deal with the Dejan Nikis. Over here, CV is necessary eventually, but I feel like Awoodenbox needs to focus on killing this. Also, this Dejan Niki having line of sight onto this SPW is quite interesting, as we have some Gruts coming in. Not a unit we see too often. We also have a Spetsnaz GRU trying to get on top of these SPWs over here, it seems. BRM, though, did spot them. And Awoodenbox gets to notice this in general, so the SPW shouldn't fall to this. And the Me-2 helicopter comes in to keep an eye on it, and then most likely a MiG-21 will do the final job there and finish it off. But the time is starting to run a bit thin here for Awoodenbox. Needs to get a good take on here. Needs to push in the north eventually. Whilst Hippie might be a bit over-aggressive. Oh, SPW now under fire by the Gruts. Gruts get a stun. Get some decent hits in here. Can they get the kill though? As this is a lightly armored vehicle. It's going down to 4 out of 8 hit points. And now the Gruts are off target. So the Gruts not getting killed. Grut currently really not a... I'm surprised to see this unit. The Gruts and all MLRS is currently in 1v1 not that efficient. Especially the smaller ones. Not quite dealing the damage that you might want out of them. As their rate of fire maybe is a bit low. So it's surprised we see them here. Instead of... But I guess they're the only agile artillery you get. What's the Spetsnaz GRU here? Is getting bullied. W trying to move away. What's the CV for Awoodenbox is getting ready to move further in here. T-64 versus BMP's easy fight for the T-64 it should be. Taking damage though from the BMP-1's guns, as this is using heat rounds. So it deals 1 damage no matter what 2 enemy targets it hits. Yeah. Even if they have too much frontal armor to get directly penetrated. That's the T-55 AM2s over here are under fire by the Medis. BMPs and co get the kill onto the T-64 here. T-64 bites the dust. So CV can get in here. And Hippie is under pressure now in the south. 11 minutes remaining now. Me-2 under fire by the Strellas. Strellas though, not the most accurate AA missiles. Get the kill on the Me-2 in the end. But will have to get a reload now, as they're both out of missiles after this. T-64s coming in for the center. Hippie really wants to hold on. A +2 Hippie can take. And obviously, if Hippie can get the kill onto this SPW over here, that would be really massive. Machitson holding the line though. The RPG-7VL is a pretty good one. What's the Spetsnaz now? Try to move forward. Dejan Nikis maybe should move with this as well. Yes, the Spetsnaz should be able to overwhelm the Machitson, but they don't bring AT, so some infantry AT coming in with them in combination could be quite helpful. But Awoodenbox needs to step it up for a W here. Whilst Hippie needs to keep it contained to a +2, or maybe even less. If the kill comes in over here, that would hinder Awoodenbox a hell of a lot. If Awoodenbox loses this CV over here, Hippie would even go up to a +1 for a while, so furthering the distance between these two players. And also would give even less time for Awoodenbox to get more ticks onto the battlefield. Spetsnaz OP here, trying to sneak around, trying to get onto the SPW, but there is a good amount of Machitson and Shilkas in front of that, so the Spetsnaz won't have an easy time here getting through this. We'll be fighting Machitson over here. Shilka stays behind it, doesn't run into it. Good micro there from Awoodenbox. Spetsnaz OP won't be able to get any kills here, while the Dejan Niki Comrade over here are under heavy fire. Me-24V rocket getting some nice side shots, but it's only a Dejan Saperi and 1 T-64 now, and a couple of helicopters in front of this Dejan Comrade. So the +2 might become a +4. And a +4 might be enough here. That would be 160 points per minute. That would make quite a difference here. Meanwhile, Hippie with another T64 BV. Another one of the big boys coming around here, bullying the Modschützen in the north. Will get the kill there. Another Modschützen happening again. So, Dejant Medis moving in. T72 chilling out over here. That's the Modschützen versus Dejant Medis. Happens over here. Ooh, SPW number 2 tried to get in to secure that there is always a SPW around. As we have now the Grud coming in with a good amount of stuns. Might even allow the infantry to move further forward here. Grud getting really good amount of stuns. Dejaniki Medis, Saperis, and BRMs moving forward. But one tank may be missing here, T55. Still survives this fight. T72s come around, deal extra damage. So getting rid of this SPW most likely won't happen here now. As the Medis don't get the kills. Besnat's under heavy fire. T64 coming around from the side. 55A moving forward. T72M rolling deeper. There's our Nikki Medis getting overwhelmed over here. Modschützen trying to get closer. T64's holding the line. Maybe a couple of AT planes could be used against these to hit this and get the kill on this unit. As Awoodenbox now needs to pull the trigger. Only 6 minutes remaining. And I think Awoodenbox here has easily enough to get the cleanup over here. Get the cleanup in the south, maybe with a plane or so. But that hasn't happened yet. So it's only a +2 for now still. CV down here did reposition. T64, 72Ms coming in to deal with the T64 BVs here. Spezialaufklärers using their RPG-22s, which are relatively solid, but not the most amazing of RPGs. Deal some extra damage here. But the Dejant Saperi has survived for now. And in the north, the CV has survived in here as well. And that is the much bigger issue. A +5 right now would be amazing. 200 points per minute. That would be exactly 1,200 points to at least make it a draw here once more for Awoodenbox. But Awoodenbox actually wants a +7 kinda. But that needs to happen relatively quickly now to get the W. As we're down to 6 minutes. And Hippie is still holding on here to contest both zones around the map. Whilst Awoodenbox is trying to get more and more tanks forward. T672M here on its own. Mi-24 has one more cocon. And might be able to get the T72 with it. Using a couple of remaining rockets as well. And all these Strellas here should move forward as well. Like, with only 5 minutes remaining, Awoodenbox really needs to pull the trigger here. T72 versus T64 didn't went amazing for the T72s, but they traded 1-1 in the end still. Spezialaufklärer trying to move in here, but there is an Akula in the air. Shilka moving into that would be quite helpful. Down to 52 fuel only though. So the T64 BV needs to be dealt with. And it is trying to get closer and closer. Maybe show the Spezialaufklärer over here. Maybe get the T64 to turn around. Whilst C72 gets the shot, gets the side shot, gets the kill. Akula under heavy fire as well. Goes down. Now more push is necessary though. Only 4 minutes remaining. Awoodenbox is not gonna win on a +2 at all. That's only 80 points per minute. Needs a +7 by now. Needs to kill both zones. But it's not what's happening. With both zones, it would be a draw, I think. Which, if you win round 2, still gives you a win. But only 4 minutes remaining now. And the wooden box not quite asserting the pressure that is necessary. Another T-64 here, only a B version this time around. Heavily damaged now, as the Dejaniki Medis tried to get the kill onto the SPW over here. Shilka coming in to try to kill it, as we have really few units here. Bombing run onto the enemy CV positions would be really helpful here for a wooden box. Whilst the MiG-21 AA trying to go for a Mi-8 helicopter, not even getting the kill there. Couple of T-72s rolling in here now, trying to move forward, but the Dejan Saperi with its RPG-7 is still sitting in the building, is still holding the ground for the moment. Most likely on return fire here to not reveal itself. And with only 3 minutes remaining, even a +7 now wouldn't save a wooden box here, I think. So, Hippie will most likely win this game, unless somehow, some way, something crashes into this CV in the rear as well, and we get a +9 happening. But that's not gonna be the case, most likely. SPW being pushed back here as well. Shilka and T-72 moving in. 72 most likely will have the better aim onto the T-64, as that still has to rotate the turret, so we'll get the kill here. But still, the CV hasn't been spotted. Now it might have been seen, as the T-72s are rolling further forward, but CV still not killed off here. Mi-8 rockets will get shut down by a Shilka, but this push is coming way too late with only 2 minutes remaining. The wooden box needed this a good amount earlier, but waited too long, and the CV still somehow holds the line here. So Hippie will win game number 1. The wooden box getting close to victory, but not taking it in time. Hippie being really resilient here on the defense, and is able to get the W here in the end. Motschützen moving forward. This is some Perry Comrodi. Tries to get some hits on here. Shilka versus some Perry Comrodi happening over here. Perry Comrodi getting hit. Oh, it's the BRM. We'll get the kill there. Mi-8 rocket helping out, and the Saperi Comrodi still is alive. MiG-21 gets the kill there. +2 from the rear. But a really well, like, drawn out game here. Hippie clutching in for the alive, and Boombox just that bit too slow. Like, we'll get the kill now in the south, but only a couple seconds remaining here. And that, even with a +7 now, in the last couple of seconds, won't be enough points for a draw. Like, a +7 is nice and all, but with only 38 seconds remaining for the tick, that's not good enough. Might even be able to spot the Saperi Comrodi in the north, but even with a +9, that wouldn't change anything right now. Awoodenbox really just taking a bit too much time, not having an eye on the necessity of a push, and being a bit too resourceful there. Q55As here on the fire. +7 gets it up to 1,200 points. But that's still good enough for Hippie here to get the win, even though Awoodenbox had the KD by a good number. SU-25 at the beginning, doing a good job here for Hippie, but the AA on the other side ramped up quite nicely later on, kept it out of the zone. The SPG-9 push really didn't do as much as Awoodenbox hoped, I guess, and that was one of the big issues of the game. Early game went pretty well for Hippie, but then Awoodenbox's combined arms went online and was able to hold all the shenanigans Hippie threw at it, but not able to push in time. So Hippie gets the score on the board in game 1v1 here. So let's move on into game number 2 with these two in a minute. Short break, then we're gonna be back. Game number 2, Hippie versus Awoodenbox. Hippie coming in on the left side with some really interesting stuff. 11th parachutist and 4th Mordschützendivision on the other side for Awoodenbox. Both sides having airborne forces, but obviously Hippie with the 11th has way more of them. Though on the other side, the tank that Hippie got, well, those are Sagais. Whilst on the other side, the tank that we get, those are T-55s. So, in the long run, when it comes to combined arms, Awoodenbox should be outclassing Hippie here. Also, thanks for the sub, my chunker. Thanks for 3 months of support. Yeah, getting us closer once more to that stream of the finals in NVA uniform. As we have Gazelle Cannons coming in. So Hippie most likely gonna go for a meme. Hippie's meme book is pretty large, pretty thick. Let's see what kind of meme is around this time around. So, yeah. Okay. Fallschirmjägers in the north. Mod of flares coming around. Me too. Sitting around here as well. SPGs coming in here. As the mod of flare will come in here in the south. Fallschirmjäger Führer gets the capture point there. On the other side though, Hippie already will get one here in as well. So both sides with a couple of CVs from the get-go. Both sides with a lot of sneaky spam stuff here. Legionnaire Paras for the big rush, but the Fallschirmjägers should make it at least somewhat easier for Awoodenbox to hold the push, to not let it get too deep, and feather it till more reinforcements can arrive. Though I'm surprised that we see so many SPGs down here. Okay, Awoodenbox, okay, that... Both sides coming in with some meme strategies here, I see. Like, that is some great usage of the geography of this lovely map of chemicals trying to move around. That's why I like this map. And the issue on this map a bit is that it is a bit of a line of sight mess, because you have so many line of sight blockers, so many short line of sights around these areas on the island, but like this flanking lane and the decision if you focus more here or if you try to break the enemy here and then maybe cut off their reinforcement, like I really enjoy this map in 1v1 and also in 2v2, but let's see how it goes in this one here as we're coming around. And also once more, yeah, thanks for the match, Reno. And yeah, thanks for everyone who is supporting the tournament. And once more, big shout out to Sinbad, improving the prize pool to $505 already. And we're not even close to the playoffs, guys. So, big thanks to everyone helping out here. As we're... And yeah, every little bit with the claim codes helps out a lot. If everyone would do that in the chat with the claim code and the visiting of websites from Lucid Sound and Power A, we would go up another $40, guys. We would go up another $40. So that's not an insignificant amount of money there. Meanwhile, Hippie coming in here with only 3 Gazelle Cannon. So it's not a full-on Gazelle Cannon spam. A bit of cheese tries to go around the south, I guess, to snipe the enemy CV behind here. So the Fallschirmjäger Führer will be not that easy to snipe for them. Meanwhile, though, a lot of frontal aggression here. Real RA 20mm for infantry support and AA with Legionnaire Para. Meanwhile, in the north, P4 Milans getting attacked here, getting killed off by the Fallschirmjägers with their RPGs. So a bit of a waste there of some pretty good ATGM vehicles. That's the Legionnaire Para and the Sapeur Flamme move forward. The Sapeur Flamme should guarantee the win in this infantry fight for Hippie, but Hippie needs to be the aggressive side here. There's no way around that. Gazelle Cannon helping out against the Fallschirmjäger Medis over here to together with the RA 20mm, getting a helicopter down out of the skies there, but being a bit too close here maybe to the Fallschirmjägers. Going down a good number. It's only 20 points, so it's not an expensive loss, but you kind of want to keep them as fire support units from the longer ranges. What's in the south, the Gazelle cannons are coming in, but so are the SPGs here. SPGs though, maybe taking a bit of a wrong bridge here. That's one bridge too far here. This bridge would have been the safe one. This bridge over here is right next to this Legionnaire Para, and that has 4 Apilas. So, potentially 4 of these SPGs here might die. Apilas, rapid fire launcher, as it is a throwaway launcher. 60% accuracy. But if it gets close to these SPGs, that might not be too important. Gets 1 kill though, and gets immediately stunned down afterwards, as it was not in a great position here. Got cut off in the open. Awoodenbox could overrun this Legionnaire Para. Decides to not do so though. Does disengage now. Meanwhile, the Strellas get the better out of the Gazelle cannon down in the south, so they won't do any shenanigans. But the SPG shenanigans of Awoodenbox is slowed down as well by the Legionnaire Para, getting one of them killed and forcing the others now to take another route further into the south. Puma Pirate coming in the north now as well. Whilst a couple of Modschützen are rolling forward. Sapper Flam sitting in the forest as they got the victory over the Fallschirmjägers over here. More Legionnaires can come in from further behind. SPG holding the line over here. That's another Modschützen is rolling in forward. Mirage F1 CT trying to get the kill here. Not getting the bombs on target though. So not a W here for our blue player. Mirage will get out at least, so it won't get killed off by the Strellas and Chilkas here. Strellas really not the most reliable AA, but the good thing is that they don't have radar, so they can't be hit by seed, which is a big advantage. Meanwhile, Aufklärers and the SPGs keep on moving in the south. Hippie will now try to secure the center. Secures Charlie as well, so goes up to a +2, +5 in a second. Tries to move on forward here, but the Fallschirmjäger and SPG-9s here trying to hold the line. As Hippie doesn't have too many infantry units here around, but with a real LRA logistics could keep them efficiently alive and then keep on coming into this fight. So Paras have to be careful here. Don't want to get eaten up by the Modschützen. Want to use their flamethrowers. Now get their flamethrowers on target onto these Modschützen. Doing a good amount of damage, doing a good amount of stress, pinning them down now. So these Modschützen here most likely are done for. Yeah, these Modschützen will go down. SPGs on the other side though, doing a good amount of damage from afar as well. SPW dealing a good amount of damage to the Puma Pirate. So Para has to be careful here as well. So pushing on forward won't be easy for Hippie, but securing this forest should be possible. Yes, more reinforcements try to secure the Legionnaires' Para's retreat here, but they are stunned down, so they will be slower than the Modschützen. So their reinforcements need to come up quickly here. While it's down in the south, Hippie has the +5 for now. The SPG push of the Awoodenbox is continuing though. But these cannot shoot in the air. Remember, these cannot shoot in the air. So one Gazelle cannon could stop this whole thing. One Gazelle cannon sitting itself up here or one Puma Pirate could kill them all. But we don't see that right now. So a bit of a mistake from Hippie, hopefully. Not gonna be too painful though. Let's see. Okay, Gazelle cannon actually coming in. Hippie realizes what's happening, and yeah, the Gazelle cannon is the perfect counter. It's a 20-point unit that can kill off all of these unarmored vehicles, and these cannot shoot back. The SPG-9 is great against infantry and tanks, but it can't shoot into the air. So that is a big advantage for the Gazelle cannon there. Sapper Paraflam trying to deal with the SPG over here. should be able to do so now, as they have it stunned down. Flamethrower finishes the job. And yeah, with the SPG-9's dead, Awoodenbox in a bit of a pickle here. Needs more units in here. Mirage HE coming around once more. Getting a kill on both Hippies and Awoodenbox's units in the area. But at least killing a bit more of Awoodenbox's units than of Hippies. Else the Gazelle Cannon is continuously moving on here towards the SPGs. Might miss them though, as it is flying directly over here, whilst the SPG-9s are moving a bit further to the side. Well, does it get line of sight here? These have good stealth. So, yeah, Gazelle Cannon might not have the line of sight it needs to see them. Not flying directly over them. And the SPGs are through. Sapur Para is a solid leader though, as it has 8 hit points, so it will give you a bit of time to react to this whole shenanigans when it comes around. Mod Aufklärer getting a kill onto the VLRA, disappearing with their good optic stealth as well. Mirage F1 CT though coming down for it, but the SPGs made it through, so this might still be disastrous for Hippie's rear line. AA will try to get the Mirage, most likely. No, a bit out of position. Also, maybe turned off as the Jaguar seat is coming around. Not the most amazing seat plane. And yeah, gets shut down by the Strellas now. Not a big fan of that seat plane, as Hippie now is 500 points up above Awoodenbox, but Awoodenbox has equalized the whole situation now. As the SPG-9s are in the rear. Have spotted the Sapur Para and are trying to bully it now. And we will see if Hippie realizes this in time. Has a bit of time here to try to maneuver this around and get maybe an airstrike on target, as in buildings takes a good while for these leaders to go down, but the SPGs still seemingly will get the kill here without Hippie realizing what is happening. They're using up a good amount of ammo, but they will get the kill eventually. And that means Awoodenbox is now on a +2, and the SPGs are still loose behind enemy lines, trying to get into a position where they can keep on hiding. So highly annoying here for Hippie. Hopefully Hippie has a Gazelle recon helicopter in here, as this is not what you want to have happen here. Another Jaguar seat trying to come around. Won't get its seat missile on target though, as the Shilka is turned off. And the +2 for the Awoodenbox is going on. Jaguar uses its main gun though to kill off an infantry unit. Puma Pirat will survive, whilst the VBL CV is trying to neutralize the zone in the north. We now have a Puma Pirat and a VLRA 20mm coming around to secure the south. Gazelle Cannon recon coming in here, and that should be capable of hunting down these SPGs eventually. As I said, they can't do anything against air, so as soon as you spot them, their days are numbered there, but you first have to spot them, and that is taking time and effort away from frontline focus, which obviously is quite painful, especially after losing one CV to them. Whilst we have over here Sapur Paras and Legionnaire Paras holding the front line and trying to secure the CV to get in there, but it's a really thin front line in front of the CV that is now contesting this point. Puma Pirat coming around. SPGs can't do anything about it. They tried to run forward. One of them trying to get away at the same time. It's all a bit of a hoax, I guess. Oh no, they're trying to fast move forward. Okay. Pumas and Gazelles now opening up fire. They're not the most accurate of vehicles, so it will take them a while to get the kill. Mirage over here though. Oh, wow! Okay, that's a terrible bombing cluster. Gazelle Cannon should still be able to take this out though, eventually. Or not. Yeah, at the moment, not the most amazing 20mm. They're getting a lot of these guys killed though. As only 2 are remaining. 1 down to 1 hit point. Oh, come on. Yeah, okay, that one goes down, but that's still one remaining. So the Gazelle Cannon needs to get rid of that. Another Mirage CT getting used here. Pretty unnecessary as it gets down in the end. Oh, maybe should have used its gun and then using its bombs elsewhere. Turning off the bomb might have been a good idea there for using it, but we'll secure that the VBL will get in there. But at the meantime, in the north, the CV of Hippie has been killed off. Reservists moving forward here. Ultra Mega Medis. Yeah, I'm getting into a 1v1 fight here. Reservists not the greatest of guns, so they will lose this fight in a 1v1 setup. They are really low on veterancy, and they are getting outclassed by the weapon systems they use as well, as all of these weapons are really old. Not top of the line. Meanwhile, Chasseur Para trying to hold the line over here against the Mordschützen. Will try to get the kills. That's D55 AM2s. Maybe could get a bit closer as well to get some hits in there. And yeah, Gazelle Cannon now holding the line against any other SPG-9 rushes, but I think they are all dead by now. So Hippie still has the advantage, but you really don't want to get into a late game with 11th parachutist, because their late game doesn't really level up well. There is nothing outside of solid infantry and solid air that you can write home about in the late game. Like, the deck is all about early game aggression and cost efficiency, and using the advantage of forward deployment at the moment to get a W. But that is not what's happening. The bomber doesn't really get the CV sniped. A couple more points being ticked for Hippie, as the CV had to move out there for a split second, but not enough to really matter in the long run. And the combined arms in the late game of 4th is not the most amazing that you can get, but it's leagues above what you get as 11th parachutist. Like, you get some solid medium tanks, your AA is more reliable, you get some support vehicles like the SPW-70, a couple of BMP ones as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, you get some support equipment there in that regard. Your artillery is useful as well, as you get some Wattsticker there as well. So Hippie is a bit on the timer, or like needs to do really well with the limited equipment that he has here at hand to get this under control. And this time Hippie is not 1,700 points up at this stage. It's only 300 points, so using that advantage to win will be a lot harder than what we got with the other units before. Meanwhile, over here, Mordschützen fighting versus Reservist. Legionnaire Paras fighting back here as well. So that one should go to the Reservist, as no more other units are intervening. I'm surprised that we still do. Okay, as I'm saying that, the first Akatsuya artillery piece has entered the battlefield. Mirage bomber still going on. If Hippie can keep the air alive and maybe get rid of some of the enemy AA, that could change the whole prospect of the game. Like, if you can continuously go on with the air spam, and the cluster Jaguar tries to achieve that right now, gets both coops, but it will get killed off by the Shilka. But yeah, if you can get rid of the enemy frontline AA, and then keep on spamming the enemy with air, basically outbalancing the enemy artillery, then it still can work. It's kind of similar to the French light infantry division, the DFL in Steel Division, in that regard. Though you lack the long-range howitzers and the decent tank support of that division in this game. But you get a bit more frontline infantry instead. Both divisions also having legionnaires in their ranks, which in both divisions are pretty strong, though I would say the Steel Division version is even stronger than the WARNO version here. Pioneer Flamethrower moving forward, T-55A coming in as well. That's the Mirage FHE. Trying to get the CV sniped here, getting it this time. So Hippie will get a couple more points, but might pay with the Mirage 5 here, yeah. And I'm not sure if that is worthwhile. Well, it's a +3, but it's still 23 minutes. Gets most likely 100, 200 points of tick here for Hippie. Losing a bomber for it though. So point-wise, it's not worthwhile. But I guess if you can continuously do that, it will start to pay off. And increasing the advantage to at least 400, 500 points is a big one. T55 ace here, moving forward for Awoodenbox. I'm surprised by that, as yeah, with the Legionnaire Para and their Apilas, plus Chasseurs, plus Hot Gazelles, the T55s shouldn't have an amazing time in the rear here. Yeah, the Apilas kicking in now. Getting rid of 2 of the T55As already. Last one desperately trying to increase the distance, but that will be a tough job. SPW coming in. And yeah, I guess it will be above 500 points. Or isn't it? Oh, as I said that, it won't. As Hippie CV got sniped in the middle as well. And that means Awoodenbox will take up here. As Hippie now has to bring in the CV into the center. So yeah, losing that is really painful, as Awoodenbox slowly but surely is pushing through the zone this time. Quicker than in game number 1. Yeah. Oh, the CV actually still alive for Hippie down here, but it moved into a building. It didn't quite get sniped, but it had to take cover in a building. 2 of the enemy CVs go down. The Sapper leader goes down as well, though, before the Chasseur Para can arrive to deal with the last SPW-70 here. And a new CV now is necessary. B-24D ATs coming in as well. AA on the front line here, not amazing. 1 Mistral is around. That's a good man pad. But against 2 attack helicopters that are armored, that is not enough. As it will need 6 hits out of its 6 missiles to kill them both. So, yeah. More AA here for sure is necessary to get rid of these 2. And it seems like Awoodenbox is starting to overwhelm Hippie here. And as I said, that's what's kind of to be expected from the mid-game onward, as the combined arms of Hippie just doesn't scale up. You just don't get anything really late game. You don't get any heavy tanks, you don't get any amazing airplane level that are expensive. Like, even though you have a good amount of airplanes, they're all pretty cheap as well. And unlike in Steel Division, you can't do endless air spam in WARNO. You are limited, just like in Wargame, to 9 planes, which I like, because endless airplanes in this game would just be an absolute mess. In 10v10 you already can get 90 per team, which is already most likely a bit too much if that really is getting used up. The 9-plane limitator is a nice thing, as otherwise they're also, I think, overwhelming air spam to overwhelm enemy air defense could be a good bit too strong. But that means that as you only have mid-class planes, your level there is also limited. Hippie though, coming once more around here to get another CV sniped. And maybe it's time for Awoodenbox to get some fighters out here. Some MiG-23s to fight this. Trying to get a couple of kills there in the air fight. As Hippie is also able to get a CV sneaked into the north. The T-55 of Awoodenbox still alive around here, but Hippie gets points once more. With 20 minutes remaining. Doesn't have a CV in the center. Oh, as I said, no. CV is coming into the center again. So Hippie will get some points there once more. Doesn't have any infantry in front of it, though. So that is really necessary. Jaguar's cluster coming in here to deal with some T-55s. Yeah, the AA on the Awoodenbox side, in some regards, needs to improve. One of the T-55 goes down. Other one does survive, though. There's no AT on this infantry here, so the T-55 AM2 can move on. Milan 1 might be dangerous in the rear here, but more infantry in front of this VBL PC is necessary. Hippie on a +5 though is increasing the distance up to 500 points once more here, and now it's at least only 19 minutes remaining for Awoodenbox to turn that around. So the advantage is rising, but at the same time, I would say Awoodenbox's frontline advantage here is rising as well, as Hippie's frontline is getting decimated here. Puma Pirat trying to come in, but they are really not good late game helicopters either. They don't deal a lot of damage, and any kind of MG can get rid of them. Mirage 2000 trying to come in. We'll try to deal with some of the helicopters, I guess, as there's 4 Mi-24D ATs. One of them will get shut down here, but at the same time the CV of Hippie falls as well. Hippie now up 600 points, but with still 18 minutes remaining, Awoodenbox should be able to push forward here. Mistral Para on the fire by the Mudschützen. In the north, we have some Pioneer Flamethrower coming in as well, as the Mudschützen will engage onto the reservists up here in the north. +2 for Hippie. Akatsia in the rear, holding the ground. That's Gazelle hot. We'll try to get a hit onto the T-55 AM2. And we'll get the kill there. That's the Mirage 1 CT is coming from the skies to hit a bombing run onto the Mudschützen. We'll get the kill there. Mirage F1 trying to get out under heavy fire. We'll make it out alive. Yes, the 6 CV here for Awoodenbox comes in. Brings it back to a +1 for Awoodenbox. Only +40, but Awoodenbox is pushing back here in the north now as well. Hippie really desperately trying to hold on there. The center though looking quite rough now, especially with the Mi-24Ds around. And a good amount of planes now going down lately as well. Shilka will most likely get the Jaguar seat out of here as well. Yeah, Jaguar goes down, so the air of Hippie is going lower and lower as well. And Hippie needs to get a CV in here again. Eventually. As if the north goes down, Hippie would be down to a +3. And with 60 minutes still remaining, Awoodenbox still would get a good amount of takes here. So Hippie really needs to get units in here. First Sagais, the first time we see any tanks out of Hippie. That shows you how inefficient the Sagai is at the moment. That it only comes in at this stage of the game. Whilst we have over here Mudschützen fighting Chasseur Para. Pirat moving forward. Hot sitting down in the south as well. They are still 90 points in the current version. Yeah, there hasn't been a patch since they came in, I think. So, or only one patch. So yeah, they for sure need a buff in some shape or form. Yeah, I would say they are a bit too pricey for what they deliver at the moment. A good bit too pricey. Like in their current state, maybe they're worth 60 points, as they're still really fast, which is obviously nice to have. So, but yes, 70, 65 points, something like that, would be way more accurate than the current 90. Maybe a couple of other buffs could be applied as well. Then they can maybe stay a bit cheap, more expensive. Don't know, like stealth buff or so. Jaguar cluster coming around for the Strelas. Can Hippie overwhelm the enemy AA? Strelas going down, but at the same time, one of the planes of Hippie as well. Second plane of Hippie might go down here as well. Does the cluster? Yeah, 2 planes down for 2 Strelas. That's not a fair trade. So, Awoodenbox getting rid of Hippie's planes more and more here as well. I'm really surprised that we don't see any MiG-23s from the other side. Meanwhile, Para SAS closing in onto the Fallschirmjäger Führer over here. They're going for the... not checking over here though. So they might not even be able to find the Fallschirmjäger Führer in this building. We'll see what happens there. Once the Mi-24AT hit the front line of Hippie over here. Hippie not able to get the CV further into the center. Now loses the CV in the north as well. As Awoodenbox finally is able to overwhelm it. And with a +3, Awoodenbox will win this game. Yeah, currently T-55s for sure are on the top end, whilst Sagai are on the bottom end of tanks. And that obviously is a bit of a problem for these 90-point vehicles that already died with their one frontal armor. One frontal armor makes them really, really fragile. Over here, Para SAS found the Fallschirmjäger, spotted them, but not quite able to get the kill on them. A group anti-char trying to come in from the other side. Mirage not quite having the line of sight on top of them that it wanted to have. And MiG-21 Bis now trying to come in there, trying to get the kill, or baiting them over the AA at least. As the Mirage got hit there. Mirage, MiG-21 afterwards killing the unit over here. Fallschirmjägerführer went low, but didn't go down. As another CV is being brought in for the south as well. Awoodenbox got better safe than sorry. Expected that the Fallschirmjägerführer might die potentially there, but it didn't go down. And so Awoodenbox is inching closer and closer to a Hippie's position here. More Sagai coming in. And yeah, if you compare them currently to a T-55 A, we don't have any T-55As on the battlefield, but yeah, we have one in the north. They have slightly better accuracy, slightly better rate of fire. They have a better gun, like slightly better accuracy there, more range. So I guess more comparable when it comes to the gun to the T-55. But then they have less accuracy for one extra penetration. And they cost the same as this AM2B. So I guess that's a interesting comparison as well at the moment. And they are for sure not on par. Like the one extra penetration and the one better rate of fire is the only advantage they got, together with the speed. But they have 9 less frontal armor, which is an insane amount. They don't have the ATGM, and they have less accuracy and less accuracy on motion. And especially the 9 difference in armor obviously is really, really massive. The ATGM also helps out the AM2Bs quite a bit. So yeah, the Sagai at the moment for sure not where it needs to be. Puma Pirat moving forward. Mirage F1C coming in over here. Yeah, also T-55s, as I said, at the moment a bit OP, so it's a bit of an unfair comparison there as well. But both need to be adjusted closer to each other. The guys closer to the center. T-55s going up a bit in price, or maybe going down a bit in performance again. Shulkas moving forward here. Mirage F1C under heavy fire as a Gazelle hot comes in for the south. Plane goes down in flames. Will leave the battlefield as a fireball. And Awoodenbox is getting really close now to Hippie's position. So Hippie needs to change that. With a draw, Hippie would still win in general. So securing a draw here, staying close to Awoodenbox's points would be enough. Hippie doesn't need to win this game to get a victory over Awoodenbox. But in the whole concept of this best of 2. But for that, Hippie needs to get in here with the VBL. And that hasn't happened just yet. SPG moving around in the north. Will fight versus the 20mm here. SPG versus 20mm is happening here. That's the SPG. Is getting under heavy fire. Will go down. Another SPW trying to get into the zone. Won't be able to make it though. As the Mirage F1 CT will get the snipe with its bombs. Sagai moving in here. T-55A moving around. Chasseur Paras standing their ground. As the T-55As do retreat. And Hippie not quite able to get a unit in here. Gets artillery out now. Still inching forward here. This would be a draw if Hippie gets the CV in here now. But I'm not sure that is quite capable. He's quite capable of doing that just yet. With the T-55s around here. Chasseur Para trying to get a side shot with their AT weapon in there. Getting a good amount of damage done. But not getting the kill. And now being fired upon. And leaving T-55 AM2Bs at 1 hit point. And more planes here off Hippie are going down. So that is not helpful either. Jaguar ATGM coming in here for the T-55 AM2. Getting the kill there. But the Awoodenbox keeps on the +3. Jaguar here most likely will go down in the fireball as well. Yeah, ball of flame crashing to the ground. So Hippie most likely out of planes now as well. 9 minutes away from the end. There's so many T-55s here that Hippie doesn't have really an answer for either. And that should be it most likely. Krupa Antic are holding sitting around over here, but it has a lot of units in front of it. Still 2 CVs in here. And as Awoodenbox now is at a point advantage that will give him the victory, Hippie would have to not even just equalize now, but actually get a tick back on. And I don't know how that is supposed to happen. Like, some insane bombing runs on all 3 CV spots would have to happen. Then maybe Awoodenbox would be out of CVs. And that, I guess, might be the way of how to. But there shouldn't be the planes left in the deck of Hippie for doing that. Meanwhile, 105mm artillery trying to snipe the Akatsuya, but they're not that great at doing that. The 105mm is not doing a lot of damage against armored vehicles. As over here, the Gazelle Cannon are moving forward. Inching in. As a lot of Puma Pirates are around. And yeah, that is the availability, Shrekken 1. Well, yeah, Hippie now going for the full-on meme. But there is still some AA on the other side. There's still some Shilkas left, and a single Shilka can kill this. Like, you'd only need a single Shilka to ruin Hippie's complete meme here at once. And the Coops can help out as well, so... Yeah, this looks a bit scary, but these helicopters are all really, really trash that are coming in here. Puma Pirate is the best of them, with its 6 hit points and 10 ECM. All the others have 4 hit points, and all the guns are pretty terrible. There's no ATGMs in here. So, yeah, only Gazelle Cannons. More Gazelle Cannons trying to find the Akatsuya here in the rear. That could be interesting. But another Stroller coming in. Mirage 2000 trying to get in here as well. Trying to hunt down the MiG-21s. Is hunted now by another MiG-21. Okay, Mirage 2000 is coming around in good numbers. But being fired upon by the Coop. One of them going down. I mean, yeah, they're trying to eat up all the missiles here. Issue is that there are still T-55As with 50 cults. That already might be good enough as AA. And then there is the Shilka that now can rotate up to the north as well and ruin the rest of these helicopters. Helicopter meme is gonna try its best, but it can't really do anything against T-55As. And also will struggle against any of these armored vehicles, as you can see, of these AA vehicles. Shilka coming around the corner now, opening up fire, will really get these guys cut out of the air quickly. Puma Pirate dying in droves. Next Puma Pirate going down, and that is the end of it. So, yeah, maybe Hippie's meme trying its best, but not working out. And I guess we will have a draw between these two people, which is not perfect for them. Making their chances of making it out of the group stage still rather slim for both, but I think both still have a theoretical chance. So, yeah, that is gonna be interesting. Even the last week, if they can make work out of it. Depends on what the winning two players do, though. If they tie, then I think the chances for these two here are really, really slim. We might have some tiebreakers to do if that happens. But, yeah. It seems to be becoming a draw here as Awoodenbox is itching closer and closer to victory with the +3. Will even finish the game out just before the time limit hits. Really good games, though. Really interesting games. I like the map quite a bit, especially as a spectator. As I said, the line of sights here on this island are a bit annoying. So playing on it is a bit frustrating when it comes to this sector of the map. Though leaves a lot of room for maneuver as well. And yeah, the push through the north can be dangerous. The push around the side can be quite brutal as well if you don't get ready for it. The Awoodenbox now is getting closer. And yeah. Hippie versus Awoodenbox is coming to an end here. And I will inform you afterwards which series I have had planned. I forgot which series is coming next. We will have a look on it. And I will let you know when I know again. I had another WARNO series coming up. And there's also one WARNO series that I might cover instead, but I have to think about if I do that now or I might do that tomorrow instead. Do the one I had planned afterwards. But I have to have a look which one I had planned. Meanwhile, 105mm sitting around in the north. Getting artillery fire onto the 355. Gazelle hot. Trying to come around. Not quite getting a kill on any of the BRMs. Yes, there will be casts tomorrow as well. Not quite decided if Steel Division or WARNO. I will have to do the planning of that tonight. As always, schedule from now on out will be on playsdl.com. So, yeah. That should be up there soon. As that's the easiest way of managing schedules. In the visible way. Like, they will be on Discord as well, but if you ever want to check out the schedule of a week, they should be from now on out. Always be the planned streams at least. Like, I obviously also do some spontaneous ones, but all the planned streams should be on there. Mirage F1 CT coming on for the T55 AM2. Not quite getting the kill. That's the MiG-21 bis. Is trying to get a counter kill here, but not working out. And yeah, Awoodenbox is making it over the finish line here in game 2. Drawing it out. And not letting himself get pushed off by Hippie too easily. Getting a point onto the board as well. In Group A of Division 2. Awoodenbox Hippie. Yeah, come on. There we go. Both getting a score of 2 there, as each got a map win. And then